What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and we have a special guest on the show, Bernard Berrien, former Vikings and Bears wide receiver. Bernard, great to have you on.
What's up, Alex? Appreciate you having me on. What's up,
Yeah,
everybody out there?
yeah. For those of you that don't know, Bernard Berrien played at Fresno State and in the NFL with the Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings. He played a major role in both the 2006 and 2009 deep playoff runs with the Bears and the Vikings. We got the playoffs right around the corner. You played in seven playoff games. What's that playoff atmosphere like in the NFL? Is it a lot of fun as a player?
Oh, for sure. It's everything you dreamed of as a kid. I mean, you're playing to make it a championship to win the championship. So as soon as playoff time comes around, just the atmosphere intensifies, the energy intensifies, the sense of urgency intensifies. Everything is magnified during playoff times. It's just that atmosphere you want to be in. It's electrifying, and you want to go out there to make plays because you know there's only so many games on TV to.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's my favorite time of the year as a fan too, and you can tell not, just from the TV, the intensity and the different style of football it is. Um, what was it like playing a major role in the 2006 Bears Super Bowl run? You had, 14 playoff catches, two big touchdowns, one against the Seahawks, one against the Saints. What was that 2006 run like with the Bears?
It was great. It was one of those things. It was just, waiting for your time, being patient enough for your time. That was one of the things I used to always congratulate Moose and always talk about Moose about is that he was one of those players that was able to keep me kind of under control and under wraps because a lot of things were happening organization wise, where I'd be in there and then shifted around, and then finally we had a year where everything was just stable, and I was able to go out there and really showcase what I can really do. And was able to make plays and during the playoffs, that's where you're making money. That's where stuff counts. It's
Hmm.
that's where you really want to make a name for yourself. And I was able to go out there and establish myself as a legitimate receiver out there.
And that was such a great team. I'm repping the Cedric Benson jersey, RIP, gone too soon. He was one of my favorite players, and I wanted to get a chance to have him on my podcast, and it sucks that I couldn't, but that was such a good team, wasn't it? A fun team, I think.
Yeah, it was a great team. It was a fun team. We had a great coach. We had great coaches, a great staff. I mean, everything fit from top to bottom. We had players in the right positions to make plays. We had players in the right position on defense. Obviously, we're a defensive-led team. I mean, Urlacher, Briggs, Peanut, all the way down
Mhm.
Bash, Tommy, and Tank, all the way down the whole line. You can go and name players, Mike Brown, at every level on the defensive side. And then we had players on the right side of the ball that helped us to achieve what we wanted to do on the offensive side of the ball. We just weren't able to, finish out with the Super Bowl win, but we
Yeah.
we we did what we could.
Yeah, that was a hell of a run and a fun time as a Bears fan. And a lot of scrutiny gets put on the Bears quarterback position. And if you ask anyone today, they're going to look back on Rex Grossman and say he was no good. But in that time, I mean, he was throwing some dime balls, some deep touchdowns to you and Moose and Mark Bradley. I mean, he had his moments, right?
Oh, he definitely had his moments. Even after he left Chicago and moving on to Washington, he shined
Hmm.
a lot over there in Washington and put up some big numbers. It's just like I said, it's just getting opportunities. The more opportunities you get, while we were at Chicago, Rex was still kind of fairly young, and still going through a lot of offensive systems, a lot of offensive coordinators. I think I want to say he went through about three or four at his time in Chicago while we were there. So I mean, it's hard to be stable and hard to be consistent when you're consistently learning a new system. So he did the best he can do and we made plays. Like we said, he had a run, he had a good arm, he had a strong arm. Rex can definitely throw the ball. There was no doubts about that or anything like that. It's just
And
managing the system and being able to get some stability and consistency.
And that's my issue as a Bears fan, and I'm growing pretty impatient at this moment right now. I've been a Bears fan, going all the way back to the late 90s all the way through the 2000s. And, it's the same story with every quarterback. Now we got Justin Fields, who I think has elite potential, and even his,
Sure.
his running ability and breaking tackles and all that. And it's just, new offensive coordinator, no stability. And I just feel like the Bears constantly put the quarterback in a tough situation to develop. Do you see that?
No, I definitely see that. I definitely totally agree with it. It is. I mean, you hear rumblings of it now. The quarterback's coming out, it's kind of talking about, I don't want to go to Chicago or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with playing there. It's just it's an organization that doesn't really develop quarterbacks really well. And you take the Justin Fields situation, for instance, and it's just like almost any other situation that we've seen in the past 20, 25 years with Chicago quarterbacks. They don't get developed enough to really shine, and they show glimpse of greatness, and then things will go bad, and glimpse of greatness is again, and it's ups and down, and then they toss them away, and they're done with them, or it's a new system, or whatever the reason is, and they don't really have any time to develop and really learn the position of quarterback, because quarterback is not just all X's and O's. There's a lot of mental aspects of quarterback that people don't realize.
Yeah, and playing with confidence, right? And believing and trusting everything around you. To me, I thought if the Bears were going to give Justin Fields the best shot to be successful, I was all in. I was tweeting, I was telling everyone that would listen, go get Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. Bring him in as head coach, proven quarterback developer, you
Sure.
know, and they stick with Eberflus, they fire Luke Getzey, but my confidence level is not high right now. I'll say that.
Yeah, Harbaugh would have been nice. I mean, right now he is probably the hardest quarterback developer out there, and
Yeah.
that I don't think there's anybody harder right now. And he's a proven commodity actually. He's done it on pretty much every level. He hasn't won it on every level, but he's been to the almost um to the highest level, to the highest game at every level. The NFC Championship, couple years in a row, few years in a row. College just won the college championship. Um, there's the only thing left is to win a Super Bowl, and it would have been great for him to be in Chicago. I mean, he played in Chicago too as well, so I mean, he's familiar with everybody here, everyone here. He had a great career here in Chicago as well too. So him to learn and get in Fields get some tutelage under Harbaugh would have been great.
Mhm.
I think the team would have been very disciplined as well. Harbaugh seems to align with players well, so I don't see I don't really see a negative with Harbaugh being with Harbaugh would have been our
Yeah, it's just
head
the
coach.
amount of money they were going to have to pay to get him, and the Bears are like, let's go the cheaper option. That seems to be the
Yeah,
routine thing.
it's always
Um,
going to come down to some money.
yeah, even in your career, right? And
Dogs,
and
money
that
talks.
that led you to Minnesota, to the Vikings, playing a division rival, and then you get to team up with Brett Favre, legendary quarterback, on that 2009 run. And we did a rewatch a couple years ago of that NFC Championship game, Vikings Saints, and I forgot. And in the rewatch, I was like, man, Bernard Berrien is balling in this game. 9 catches, over 100 yards in that game. What was it like playing with Brett Favre on the Vikings?
I mean, it was definitely exciting. Brett's gonna let it fly. So, and Brett's a funny guy. It's an exciting time that season. We thought we were gonna win. We thought we should have actually won the Super Bowl that year too, as well.
Hmm.
But missed out on our two opportunities. It, God, I keep looking back on those years and I was just thinking back. I should have two Super Bowl rings, but it hurts. But it's like I said, it was an electrifying year. Just everybody was on point. Everybody was on top of their game at the time, and everything was clicking. It was kind of like the Chicago year where nothing could go wrong. Everything was going in our favor. So it's just one of those years. We just didn't
My
realize again.
Yeah, my co-host Amanda is a big Packers fan, and she likes to pretend like those years in Minnesota didn't happen with Brett Favre. But um, wa- was his So I've heard some receivers talk about his passes were so hard, like you could damn near break a finger. Like, was it like that when you were there?
So I caught Brett like after all the Jet stuff with the
Yeah,
elbow. Like I
yeah.
caught Brett at the end of his career. So it wasn't we had quarterbacks there that actually threw harder at the time.
Okay.
So, but yeah, he still threw hard though. Like I don't want to throw shade on his arm. He can still throw. He can still sling it though. So yeah.
Was he a lot of fun as a teammate? He was famously like John Madden's favorite player, right? And you could always see him having fun on the field.
No, yeah, he's definitely that guy for sure. He's funny. He's a comedic. He's a common comedian on and off the field. He pretty much brings laughter to everywhere he goes. So yeah, Brett Favre is definitely Brett Favre.
So speaking of the Packers, and as a Bears fan, this frustrates me to no end. You go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love balling out, 18 touchdowns, just one interception since week 11. I never would have saw this coming. And now we got a great playoff game, Packers at Cowboys on Sunday. Do you think Green Bay, with the way Jordan Love is playing, they have a shot to upset the Cowboys? Or do you
I mean,
think Dallas getting that home field advantage is such a huge accomplishment? And they're undefeated in Dallas.
it's the NFL. You always got a shot. Let's
Yeah.
start there. You always got a shot. The way Green Bay's playing right now, they are on a hot streak. Momentum does play a factor, especially heading into the playoffs. You're a hot team that does factor in or actually heavily, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
But Cowboys are another hot team right now too as well. Dak's playing the best he's probably ever played as a quarterback in the league right now. He's playing like a MVP caliber player right now too, type level. So it's going to be hard. The defense is playing pretty well. They got everybody is healthy.
Yeah.
Everybody is that's huge going into the playoffs too as well. And then usually typically um you like to have that first round bye, but being in that position where the Cowboys are in, it's a good position to be in. You're still playing a game, and you're typically playing a team that's good, but it's not really that good. So usually, typically, that team in that position usually goes to the Super Bowl. I'm a Niner fan, so it's not gonna happen. They got to go through the Niner.
There you
They
go.
go through seven
Yeah, the
seeds.
Niners are right
But
now
no,
on paper, I think.
I like the Cowboys in that game.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've got the more talent. Green Bay has had a good run. It should be a hard fought game, but I think the Cowboys do enough to get the win. I agree with that. Niners and Ravens are the two like favorites. Like if everything goes the way it should, we should have a Niners Ravens Super Bowl in my opinion.
I agree with that too as well.
Um, and keeping it in the NFC North. So the Detroit Lions, who would have thought? 12-5, they win the NFC North first time ever, first division title since 1991, and then they've got all this, excitement in Detroit. They're going to be packed in Ford Field, fans going crazy, and here comes Matthew Stafford and the Rams.
Yeah.
You couldn't write a better story. This is
I
going
was
to
about to
be
say the NFL scripts are out. The NFL scripts are out.
That's going to
But
be a great matchup. And I've been a Detroit Lions hater. I think I've picked against them every week this year. And they keep proving me wrong over and over. I'm going with the Rams again here. I think Stafford goes into Detroit, you know, and beats them. What do you think here?
No, I actually do think the Rams are going to win this game. But funny story about Detroit is I actually picked them to be the surprise team this year for the season.
Okay.
I actually picked them to win the NFC North too as well. Um, I actually thought they were going to be a really, really good team. I thought they were going to be better than they were actually. I didn't think they were going to have the slow start they had this
Hmm.
year. But like I said, they caught on fire too, and they're playing really well too. With golf in the Stafford situation, it's hilarious. But I don't see them beating the Rams right now. Stafford's playing out of his mind right now. MVP caliber playing right now too level. And
Yeah.
the rest of the team, they're playing well too, and they're healthy too as well. So I don't really see them beating the Rams.
What do you think with this new analytics push in the NFL and you see it even in college football with this go for it on fourth down, go for two, ultra aggressiveness, and Dan Campbell's, probably the most aggressive. I keep saying that that's not sustainable. At some point, that ultra aggressiveness is going to come back to bite you. And it did against the Cowboys. You know, he could have kicked the extra point,
Okay,
gone into
that's the point.
overtime, still
Yeah.
went for two. Do you think that that aggressiveness could come back to bite the Lions in this game?
I mean, it can, but it's all in the mentality of the team. If that's your mentality and that's your brand, then
Yeah,
you got to ride with it and ride with it. Just don't let ego get in the way. Sometimes I know sometimes your brand and this is what we do and I'm sticking to it and I'm not going to change no matter what. That can
yeah,
cause you to lose, like the situation you brought up, like in the Cowboys missing the field goal. They could have went for one and went for the win or for the field goal, went for two and didn't get it. So, like you said, it definitely can come to bite you, like especially in the playoff times. Like things are magnified, mistakes are magnified now.
yeah.
So you can't points are crucial. You gotta take every point you can get.
Yeah, that's what I always say. It's like they act like field goals are a bad thing, and I'm like, man, just stack points, you know?
Yeah, just stack points. Or long if you got time to do it, go ahead and do it. But just know, those points missed, they're gonna cost you somewhere. It's a game. They say it's a game of inches, and they don't say it for fun at all.
Yeah, 100%. And then the Eagles, the Eagles beat the 49ers last year in the NFC Championship game, but the storyline coming out of that game was, man, if Brock Purdy had stayed healthy, the Niners could have probably won that game. It might have been the better team. But the Eagles won the NFC, go to the Super Bowl, and they were hot last year. And going into this season, they're loaded with talent and expected to be an championship rematch, Eagles Niners. And for whatever reason, they've lost five out of their last six, and they're struggling, limping into the playoffs. And I feel like maybe that move at defensive coordinator was a little premature and might be backfiring a little bit with Matt Patricia. Um, Eagles at Bucks. This is a toss-up game here. This is a tough game, don't you think?
I agree there too. The Eagles have been on a tough road right now. I think the game against 49ers kind of exposed them a little bit and exposed where their weaknesses quite devastating actually. And teams have been able to follow and duplicate and replicate that success against the Eagles. They've also had some big injuries coming up too that
Yeah,
kind of have hindered them as well. And those guys are still going to be out for quite a few games too still. So it's not like they got anything to help them out anytime soon. So like you say again, this game against the Bucks, Baker Mayfield. I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan by any means, but but he's playing his ass off right now. It's hilarious, and they're winning. They're one of the hot teams too right now. So this game actually, I have no clue on who's good. I have no pick for this game at all, to be honest
yeah,
with you, because this
it's
game
a
can
tough
it
one.
really could go either way. But if I do have to choose someone, I think I'm actually going to go with the Tampa Bay on this one.
Yeah, and it's like who's playing their best brand of football going into the playoffs, you
Yeah,
know? And Tampa Bay seems to be. We'll see if Baker wakes up feeling dangerous, right?
exactly.
And he's got weapons: Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rashad White. So we'll see. You know, but that's a tough one to pick. I agree. I'm going Bucks as well. Um, and then how about speaking of coming in hot, the Buffalo Bills, five straight wins.
There we
They were
go.
left for dead at 6-6, but five
Check
straight
them out.
wins. They steal the AFC East from the Dolphins, and now they're hosting a playoff game in Buffalo against the Steelers. Bills, I think, are true contenders in the AFC this year. How about you?
Yeah, I think they're definitely true contenders. Playing this game in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's pretty good right now too. Still, they're a little shaky. But the thing about Tom is that he's gonna keep the game fairly close. He's pretty good at keeping games fairly close. May not win it, but he does do that. But right now the Bills are high. I tossed them to the side early on in the season too as well.
Yeah,
Um, Last year I picked them to actually win the Super Bowl last year. Um,
you know,
and yeah,
and
this early on this season they just didn't come out. They came out kind of flat in work linking the receivers, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, the whole thing going on there. all the disturbance in miscommunication that was causing. I didn't see the Bills making too much of a run, and now they've caught fire. I still don't think they're clicking offensively as they would like to be still right now. So that's why I kind of say I could see Pittsburgh kind of putting a hold on them. But yeah, I think I see the Bills winning this game too as well.
Yeah, they seem to be playing better football after make firing the offensive coordinator and going with Joe Brady. And I think the key to the Bills' offense is James Cook. I'm a big fan of his, and if
Sure.
they get him involved, whether in the running game or the passing game, and then they brought in Leonard Fournette as well, I like those running backs there. I feel like that's been the missing piece for the Bills the last couple of years is a more reliable running game.
Yeah, I agree there for you with what you said right there. Exactly. That has been a missing piece for the Bills. They've had to rely on Josh, and that's not a bad thing, but they've had to rely on Josh. Now they got to run the game to complement what Josh is able to do with his legs and his arm. So
Yeah.
it just creates another threat. And the threat of Cook, he's a real legitimate threat running the ball and throwing the ball to him as a receiver too as well at the backfield. So it's really hard to clue in and try to key on and try to scheme up a defense that's really try to defend all those guys.
Yeah, and I would give the Steelers a better shot. No TJ Watt really hurts too. So the
That's
Steelers
huge.
are, yeah. And we'll see. The Steelers need to figure out their quarterback position. I know Mason Rudolph is doing his thing right now, but going forward, maybe Russell Wilson needs to go over there in Pittsburgh.
You better make some trades. You got draft
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Um, the Miami Dolphins, they were 11-4 fighting for the one seed, a couple weeks ago, but now two straight losses to the Ravens and Bills, and they're the sixth seed. They could have been playing in Miami in the sunshine for these playoffs. Now they're going to Arrowhead against the defending champs, and it's supposed to be single digits on Saturday night, or yeah, I forget Saturday night, yeah.
Saturday night, yeah, Saturday. Yeah.
So much tougher. You talk about home field matters, and those Dolphins players would much rather be playing in the sun than going to cold ass Arrowhead. I think that plays a role in this one.
December, January games, boy, I tell you, that home field advantage is crucial during that time because now it's real football time. Now you got to be able to do it in 10-degree, 15-degree, hop out of back,
Yeah,
go back to 60-degree weather in an instant. So it's going to be tough for Miami because the temperature. I remember playing Atlanta in Chicago one time. Vic wanted no part of that. It's just
yeah,
too cold.
yeah,
It's too cold. So Miami's gonna have a tough time playing Kansas City, but Kansas City's struggling right now too as well. So the way they're playing, they're not offensively, defensively. The defense is what's been holding them in games right now. They've been winning with their defense. Thank God to that. But if it wasn't for that, it'd be pretty bad over there right now. There's nothing clicking offensively over there. Kelsey Mahomes aren't clicking. And I think that's just coming through the frustration of what's going on with the other receivers, not being able to go to those receivers and having to kind of really force it to Kelsey. And then it changes the dynamic. It changes the chemistry a lot of times because you're you're not ad-libbing the play as much as they do. You're kind of forcing it to him now, and
yeah,
he's not ready for it, or it's not in the same position that you would normally throw that ball in. So it's just a different chemistry, and you're seeing the drops a little bit, and you're seeing missed passes, and you're seeing the balls all on the field all over the place. So it's hard for them to really get going, get some chemistry, and get drives going to sustain drives for that and their defense is just getting tired now. So teams are able to win and beat Kansas City now. They're not as formidable as they were before. So there's a chink in the armor and everybody's taking advantage.
yeah. It's interesting with Kansas City. I think that they'll find a way to do enough to win this one at home. Isaiah Pacheco is a big key that running game. And we'll see. But yeah, they're not as good as the last couple years. I think they're more beatable this year than in the past. But playoff Mahomes, it's tough to bet against him too.
It is
So,
tough to bet against them, but I'm gonna be the one to bet against them. I'm going Miami this one.
oh, all right, I like
I'm
it.
going Miami.
And Tyreek Hill against his old team. That's a fun storyline there.
Yeah, that is a fun story. I can't wait to see it.
Um, Speaking of playing in the cold, did you have any issues playing in the cold in Chicago, or did you like it?
I hated it.
Yeah.
I'm a California kid. I'm playing in Fresno. I'm used to playing in 100, 110 degree. It's hot. It's dying hot. So when you get out in that cold, you get used to it. You
Hmm.
definitely get used to it. But no, I don't think anyone ever really enjoys playing in the cold.
Yeah.
It's it's a different. The ball is a rock. The field
Yeah.
is a rock. That field at Soldier Field is sloppy. It's all over the place. Your
Yeah.
footing, it's a terrible. It's really a terrible game. It's a terrible play. If you're running the ball, you can have some fun for sure. But like the every other aspect of the game is you think it's just a mess.
That's why Bears they always revert to defense and running the ball, right?
Yeah,
Especially in the.
really. But
But man, I just as a
Playing in Soldier Stadium though is that's something else. That's it. That I love. That part I love for sure.
yeah,
Everything's electrifying there. I love the atmosphere. And then when like the home field advantage coming to the cold, it's different when people got to come to the cold and know and they see everybody. There's no sleeves. We're not really worried about the cold or anything or tripping
yeah.
on how cold it is or anything. We're coming out there to whoop your ass, really.
That's my thing. Is that my first game ever as a Bears fan? It was snowing. It was out there in the cold. It was freezing. I got snowflakes falling in my beers. I'm loving it.
It does make it
And
epic. It does for sure.
yeah, I'm not getting hit, so it's more fun for me. But like now they're talking about moving the Bears to a dome. And I just think that's sacrilege. Like I can't wrap my head around that. Bears football is played in the snow on the lakefront. You know what I mean?
That's what I keep saying too. That's what I keep saying the same thing. I'm like, if you're gonna move the stadium, just make it bigger or something and move it down the street.
Yeah,
Keep it where it's at. But I don't like just remodel the stadium. Do what everybody else is doing. I don't think it needs to go anywhere. I like it off the lake. Like that's an advantage to being in Chicago.
yeah.
Uh, I don't like Arlington really too much. It's gonna I don't know. It's just the fan. I think people are gonna come no matter where they put the stadium at. They're gonna
Yeah,
come,
yeah.
but it's just keep. I like the idea of keeping where it's at and just remodeling and rebuilding what we have now.
I
Because
agree. I'm 100% with you. And it'd be like moving the Packers indoors. Like, what are we doing here?
yeah,
Like, you
it's,
can't do that.
I can see you making the dome, make it retractable or something. Like it's got to be retractable or something. We got to have some outdoor
Yeah, but then
atmosphere. It's got to
it'll be
have.
retractable, but then they're not gonna open it when it's snowing, right? They're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
keep
for
it
sure.
closed.
They're gonna keep
I
it
hate
closed. I know.
it.
Return blast AC, negative
Yeah.
10.
The Houston Texans, how about this team? Rookie head coach D'Amico Ryans, rookie quarterback CJ Stroud, and they're balling. I thought they were going to be last place in that division and a slow rebuild and take a couple years. I like CJ Stroud, but to be this successful this quickly is a lot of fun to watch. And now here comes another great story, the Cleveland Browns, the 38-year-old Joe Flacco. You know, I love this story. I find myself rooting for the Browns. We've seen Flacco go on a Super Bowl run before and
Yeah.
win Super Bowl MVP, and they got the number one defense. How are you feeling about this game? Do you like the Browns or do you like the rookies over there in Houston?
So I do like the rookies over there in Houston. I'm a big fan of D'Amico Ryans for one. I wish he would have stayed in San Francisco for one too.
Yeah.
Um, he's doing a great job over there. He's a great leader, and he's obviously going to be a player's coach. So he's able to rally the troops. They're following his lead, and he's doing a great job leading them. And CJ Stroud is pretty much he's fearless, young talent. I always tell everybody, young talent on the offensive side is dangerous because if they
Hmm.
get hot and they get momentum, that ego is already there for coming out of college. So the ego
Yeah.
is already there, and it's a necessity. I hate when people talk about the kind of translating into cockiness. There's a difference. That ego is there. So and if you're on and you're playing, you got momentum. There's you're in that zone, and there's nothing like that you can really stop you. And I feel like CJ and some of those other guys, the other weapons he's got on receiver, they're in that zone right now, and it's hard to really stop them. Uh, um, I just like what Cleveland's doing over there. Stefanski is doing a great job coaching over there. Probably going to win Coach of the Year this year if they
Yeah.
keep winning, they keep staying and keep doing what they're doing. Um, and it's funny, Stefanski was a GA when I was in Minnesota. But I
Okay.
can see what he's doing now. But
Yeah.
uh he that team right now defensively is great. Miles Garrett is a freaking animal. It is hard to stop him, and he can literally change the outcome of a game by himself. Um, that running game is with Nick Chubb is good. Is Nick Chubb still in right now? I thought he got
No, he went down for the season with
he did
an
go down for the
injury.
season. Yeah, that's
They've
right.
done a good job with Jerome Ford,
But oh
Kareem
yes,
Hunt.
that's what it was. He's doing. That's why
Yeah.
he's been doing a great job with everybody subbing in. All the
Yeah. A lot
resiliency
of
that he's
injuries.
showing this year.
Yeah.
So it it it's hard to pick. I think Cleveland's going to win this game. I'm going with Cleveland.
Hmm. Me
Going with,
too. A rookie against the number one defense in football, right? I'm
yeah,
gonna lean the defense, and the Flacco story is so cool. I'm rooting for that. It's kind of like Kurt Warner, late in his
I
career
can
with
see
the
that. Yeah,
Cardinals,
definitely.
you know. And so I'm rooting for that story, and I think Browns Ravens that's the matchup I want to see in the
That would be
playoffs.
awesome. That's a story right there.
Yeah, and real quick, as a former receiver, what do you think of Marvin Harrison Jr.? I think that if you're the Bears and you do want to get the most out of Justin Fields, Marvin Harrison Jr. You put him with DJ Moore. That's the recipe right there. Do you agree with that? Do you like Marvin?
I love Marvin. Marvin is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome player. It's hard to pass up on Marvin, but me being in the GM spot and having control
Hmm.
of picks, I think I'm trading this pick for some more
Hmm.
picks. I need some more. I need another first rounder, a little, because I feel we can get another receiver just as great, if not, or
Yeah.
equal talent lower at a lower position. There's going to
Yeah.
be, I feel like there's going to be receivers in skill position available, especially because the quarterbacks that are coming out this year right now. So everybody's going to in come on in, and everybody wants to get their hands on the quarterback right now. So I
Yeah.
think
And do you
staying with
take a wide
Justin,
receiver number one overall, or can you get like Malik Neighbors in the 10th overall spot or ninth overall?
exactly.
Yeah. That's
It's
a that's a good point.
I'm trying to build this team is what we were talking about, earlier last year. We keep changing systems, new coach, new offensive coordinator, fire head coach, someone's coming in, and then we blame the quarterback. So
Yeah.
I'm really trying to, I really want to build around this quarterback. Give up that first pick and get some picks and really try to build an actual team.
Get some O line. Yeah, the trenches, in my opinion, is where it all starts. And so you got to have that. And then you said you're a 49ers fan. The Niners and Ravens, the two best teams on paper for sure. If they can stay healthy, there's no reason in my mind why it won't be Niners Ravens Super Bowl. Do you have your Niners winning the whole thing?
I'm definitely gonna have my Niners winning the whole thing. That's for sure. Yeah, it's just like you said. If everything goes the way it goes, no injuries or anything like that, I don't see why there's anyone. They're the hottest two teams out. They're easily, I kind of head above shoulders above the rest of the league right now.
Hmm.
Um, the teams that they have to face aren't really threatening. The matchups, I like the matchups of who they're gonna have to face when they do have to face those teams too as well. So I don't really see anyone stopping them. I think besides maybe the Bills in that
Hmm.
AFC matchup, or but other than that, I really don't see anyone stopping San Francisco, at least on the NFC side.
So just to go against you here, I'm going to take the Ravens, and I'll tell you my case why. Lamar's playing, in my opinion, the best football of his career this year.
Sure. MVP.
Like because his athleticism and running ability's always been there, is very special. But this year more than ever, he's been more patient in the pocket, and waiting until the last second to run. And he's looking at read one, two, three, four. And that's really opened up the offense. I love the addition of Dalvin Cook on what he could present in the playoffs.
for sure.
And then another reason why the Bears have me so down bad right now is you trade away Roquan Smith to the Ravens, and he instantly turns that into a top
Leading
three
tackler.
defense across the board. And so I got to root for my guy Roquan. I'm a little bit of a Ravens fan nowadays because of Roquan Smith and Lamar's special, Zay Flowers. They got a lot of talent.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with my father about Lamar when he was coming out. I said, watch him when he
Yeah.
comes. He is something special. In that Niner game, like you saw it. You completely saw it. He was the X factor in that game. He totally controlled that game and he took over that game. And there was nothing the Niners can do to stop him from
Hmm.
moving the ball forward. If it was a little dunk pass, go through my read, go through my progression, I'll make the right read, go through my progression, take off and scan for 17, 20, 25 yards. Nobody can touch him. And every time he takes off running, I'm just like, look at him. He's not even trying. It's so effortless. It's just floating down the field, and I hate it because he's doing it. Because he's doing it against my team. So it's hard to stop him. And he is the MVP. He is the MVP of the league right now. I don't think there's anybody playing better than Lamar. I don't think there's a better player than Lamar right now in the league too as well. Um, it's gonna be tough, but I will say it's hard to beat a team two times in a row in the same season. So
Hmm.
if
Yeah.
we do see those two teams in the Super Bowl again, I hope so, and I hope we come with it and bring it.
Yeah, and Niners Ravens, we've seen that matchup in the Super Bowl before. And can San Francisco
Yeah,
get revenge, right?
yeah,
And it'll
yeah.
be it'll be a
The
lot of fun.
Hardballs, the
Yeah.
Hardballs.
Um, yeah, Lamar this year, he reminds me, remember Vic in Atlanta was so special? And
Yeah,
then when Vic got to Philly, it was like his passing game went to the next level. And
exactly.
this year reminds me of Vic in Philly, a little bit. So it's going to be interesting for sure. I can't wait for these playoffs. We'll be watching every game closely. And thanks a lot for coming on and talking some playoff football. Do you have anything you want to plug? I know you said you're doing some coaching these days, right?
I've been doing well not now. I actually kind of been slowly kind of reeling back on coaching. I've been doing financial services. That's been kind of
Okay.
taking supplementing my time. I hate being the coach that can't focus in on the kids. So I
Mm.
just been doing private training with coaches. Right now I'm actually doing uh, um, an all-star game. Me and Rob Golden were coaching an all-star game out here, Army all-star game. We got that coming up this weekend. But it's really the
Nice.
financial services. I've been doing that, helping people make and save money.
Nice. That's what's up. Well, appreciate you coming on. It was a lot of fun to talk some football with you. Like I said, I looked up to you growing up, watching you catch those touchdowns from Rex Grossman and those great Bears teams, and then from Brett Favre in Minnesota. So it was an honor to talk some football with you, and appreciate you taking the time to come on.
Alex, I appreciate you having me on, man. Anytime I'll hop back on again too.
Hell yeah, we'll have to do that for sure, and appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and stay tuned all playoffs long. Appreciate it, and
All
have a
right,
great week,
y'all.
guys. Peace out.